The diner clock ticked past midnight, and the rain tapped softly against the glass. Inside, a single man wiped down tables, humming quietly to himself. His name was Jack Carter, a single dad and former Army veteran, trying to rebuild his life in a small forgotten town. The world had taken almost everything from him, his wife in an accident, his savings in a bad deal, and now he was just scraping by, running a rundown roadside diner while raising his little daughter, Lily, alone. He didn't talk much about his past. But if you looked close enough, you'd see the faint scars on his knuckles, the way he scanned every corner out of habit, and the deep calm that only men who'd seen war carried in their eyes. One rainy evening, 3 bikers rolled in, loud engines, louder laughter. The kind of men who thought the world owed them respect. They stomped into the diner, dripping water and arrogance. "Hey old man," one of them sneered, tossing his wet jacket on a chair, "get us some food, and make it fast." Jack nodded silently. He'd dealt with worse. He'd been trained to keep his temper cold as steel. But as he served their food, the bikers began mocking him, his limp, his worn-out apron, even the way he smiled. One of them laughed, "You used to be somebody, huh? What happened, soldier boy? Couldn't hack it in the real world." Jack said nothing. He just kept working. But his daughter Lily, only 9, peeked from behind the counter. "Leave my daddy alone," she shouted, her little voice trembling. The diner went silent for a moment, then one of the bikers laughed so hard he spilled his drink. "You hear that? The kid's got more fight than her old man." They slapped the table and jeered. Jack's jaw tightened. He took Lily by the hand, guiding her gently to the back room. "It's okay, sweetheart," he whispered, "just stay back there, all right?" But the bikers didn't stop. They began mocking him louder, throwing napkins, flicking ketchup packets, and one even kicked a chair over just to see if he'd react. When Jack tried to calmly ask them to leave, the biggest one stood up, grabbed his shirt, and shoved him. "You gonna make me, soldier?" Jack stumbled back, his eyes darkening. For a second, the room filled with a tension thick enough to cut. But instead of fighting back, he reached for his phone. The bikers laughed again. "Oh, what's this? You gonna call the cops, tough guy?" Jack looked at them, expressionless, and simply said, "No. I'm not calling the cops." He dialed a number, one he hadn't used in years. The line clicked. A calm voice answered, "Echo 1. Confirm ID." Jack's lips curved faintly. "This is Ghost 6. I need a favor." There was a pause on the other end. Then the voice changed. "Roger that, Ghost 6. We're on our way." The bikers looked confused. "Who the hell you calling, old man?" One of them barked. But Jack didn't answer. He just sat down at the counter, poured himself a cup of coffee, and waited. 10 minutes later, the low rumble of engines filled the air again, but this time, it wasn't the bikers. It was black SUVs, pulling up silently outside. The doors opened, and men stepped out, tall, fit, and wearing tactical jackets with no markings. They moved like shadows, professional and quiet. The bikers froze. Who are they? One of the men entered the diner, saluted Jack with military precision, and said, "Good to see you, Commander." The lead biker's face went pale. "Commander. Wait, what?" Jack stood slowly, his calm now terrifying. "You boys picked the wrong man to mess with," he said softly. "You think I forgot what real fear looks like? You think pushing around a single dad makes you tough?" The biker tried to laugh it off, but his voice cracked. "Hey, we were just joking around, man." Jack stepped closer, his voice firm but steady. "No, you were humiliating a man who fought for your right to walk free. You insulted a soldier, in front of his daughter." One of the tactical men approached and whispered, "Sir, what do you want done?" Jack looked at the bikers, trembling now, and said quietly, "Just make sure they understand what respect means." The team didn't touch them, but they surrounded the bikes, took photos of their plates, and radioed something in. The bikers realized their identities were being logged by what looked like a government-level task force. "Please, man," one stammered, "we didn't know." Jack just nodded. "Now you do." They left, heads down, bikes roaring away into the rain, leaving behind nothing but fear and silence. After they were gone, one of the agents turned to Jack. "Still keeping it quiet, huh? You could have called anytime. The unit still owes you." Jack smiled faintly. "I'm not that man anymore. I just want to raise my daughter in peace." The agent nodded, saluted, and left as quietly as they came. Lily peeked out from the back room, eyes wide. Daddy, who were those people? Jack knelt beside her, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Just some old friends, sweetheart. The kind that show up when it really matters. That night, as the diner lights flickered and the rain faded away, Jack looked out at the empty road. He wasn't just a single dad trying to survive. He was a man who'd sacrificed everything for others, and even though the world had forgotten him, his courage, his discipline, and his dignity still stood unbroken. He whispered softly, almost to himself, "You never stop being a soldier, you just fight different battles." And if you're watching this right now, remember, strength isn't about fighting. It's about knowing when to stand tall and protect what truly matters. So if this story touched your heart, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a reminder. Heroes don't always wear uniforms, sometimes, they wear aprons.